right, hello Tampa. It's Mayor Jane here for our Facebook Live, and we have another incredible guest, my good friend Santiago Corrada, who has the most incredible hair of any person that we know, and everybody knows that. But Santiago is my good friend, and I'll give him a proper introduction in a minute. But I want to start, as I always do, by thanking you for tuning in today. And I hope that the information that we provide to you is valuable and that this is a very good use of your time. All right, our case update. We have 1,703 total cases in Hillsborough County with 64 deaths. And as I always say, each number there represents a human life who has left behind family and loved ones. And so we're working hard every day to reduce those number of cases and also reduce those associated deaths. In the state of Florida, we have 47,471 positive cases with 2,096 deaths. So I want to talk again about our onetampa.org website and One Tampa program. And that is the one that we are providing the relief to residents for mortgage, rent, and utility relief. And then now with the small businesses. As I have stated before, we have put together $8 million. We use 4 for the residential program, citizen driven, and then we have 4 million for the small businesses. We had the stipulations on that were a little tight in the beginning, and as such, we didn't get the number of businesses apply that we had anticipated. We should be able to help about 800 businesses. And so we're doing phase 2 of that, and it begins on January 1st. So if you own a small business, you are in a low income census tract or a community redevelopment area, which really covers a large portion of our city, go to onetampa.org. If you don't know if your business is in one of those locations, there is an icon that you can click on, type in your business address, and it will tell you if you are or aren't eligible. And then from there, it's pretty simple. You have to be in a certain category. Those businesses that were seen as non-essential and were forced to close down, therefore you have taken a financial hit based on this virus. And so you just have to fill out the application there. Have been in business for at least a year. Doesn't matter how many employees you have. So we've made it as open as we possibly can because we want to help as many small businesses as we can. Small businesses are the backbone of our community. So please, onetampa.org, go there, take a look, and get ready to apply. Opening on June 1st for the pre-application process. So please do that. Next, we're talking about our Lift Up Local recovery plan. That's something that we thought about with the retail and restaurants when they were allowed to open to 25%. Thought 25% isn't really going to help anybody out. So what can we do to allow the restaurants and retail to serve more customers? And it'll be a win-win for the businesses and for our citizens. And so we allowed them to move outside. All of that information, Lift Up Local, is also on our website, tampagov.net. And I literally received calls from around the nation from other mayors that wanted to copy our plan with the Lift Up Local. And it actually has been featured on a couple of national news sites and also in the media nationally. So very proud of what our team was able to do. And I tell you what, our team gets together, they get things done. This type of a program would have taken a couple of months to plan and implement because you have to look at the logistics, you have to look at the legal issues, you have to consult. It had to be a partnership with the restaurants and retail as well to find out exactly what they wanted. We didn't want to come in and tell them this is what you need. So we worked with them as well and got it all up and running in a week. And so very, very proud of the Tampa team for getting the Lift Up Local in place. And it is something that we're looking at to be a permanent program here in our city. Now, clearly it can't be year round. As I've told a lot of the restaurant owners, the weather is going to determine when you stop dining outside, because it's going to get hot and it's going to start raining every afternoon. And so we will have to take that break over the summer. But hopefully in the fall, when it gets a little cool, we can go back to it, because it really is nice. I've gone to a couple of restaurants, and being able to sit outside with the cool breeze and eat is very, very nice. So we're looking to keep that going with the Lift Up Local and our Reopen Responsibly. We're helping a lot of the businesses. We're trying to put as much information as we can, FAQs, on our website to help businesses open up, because there's not a lot of information out there. You know, the governor provides his reopening plan and then provides a very short list of FAQs associated with that. So we're trying to go deeper for our local businesses to help them, one, answer questions, and to help them reopen responsibly, safely, and a lot easier. So there's not that anxiety associated with it. On the testing front, as I've said before, we have that syndromic surveillance system that sounds like a bunch of drones out in the air, but really what it is a system that we are mapping the positive virus cases throughout our county, and then also mapping those locations where individuals have presented with symptoms, whether they've gone to a hospital or whether they've filled out the county survey, mapping that as well. And then also using publicly available cell phone data that shows where individuals are traveling. And so we'll be able to identify potential hotspots or surges and get services down in there quickly, so that we don't have an outbreak of cases and that may possibly overrun us. We also have the contact tracing in place. So once individuals are tested, if it's positive, then they'll go back and see who you were in contact with, test them, or possibly quarantine if necessary. So, and also we have the long-term care task forces together, and that's the Hillsborough County Health Department, the Hillsborough County Emergency Management, City of Tampa Emergency Management, all working together to map out all the long-term care facilities and make sure that they're getting the staff tested in those locations. If any of the staff test positive, then they test the residents as well. Make sure that we don't have outbreaks in those locations, as we've seen in so many other places across the United States and across our state. For the summer, here's what we're doing. We're continuing to move along. We have opened up our parks, the majority of our parks. There are some of the centers, rec centers, that haven't been open because we aren't able to effectively physically distance in those, but the majority of our parks are open. Some of the equipment is still off limits because of the touch factor. Also, courts that bring you in physical contact, basketball, those types of volleyball, those courts are still shut down. But tennis, pickleball, my son just continued, Mom, when are you opening the tennis courts? That was the number one issue on that child's list of things of importance. But those are open. Our boat ramps are open. We have opened up Davis Island boat ramp that all of the docks were being refurbished, as was the ramp. And Lowry Park boat ramp is closed down now because we're refurbishing all of that. Otherwise, the rest of them are open. Our summer programs, we are going to continue with our summer programs, and we want to serve 100% of the kids that we served last year. So we think that it is very, very important that we open up the summer camps so that the parents can get back to work. They're not going to go back to work if they don't have a safe place for their kids to go. So we're looking at opening that. So pay attention again to our website, tampagov.net, and you'll be able to get all of the information on which parks are open. And if we do not have the physical space, we are working with Hillsborough County school systems. If it's necessary, we're going to see if we can partner with them to use some of their space in a neighborhood school, because we want to serve as many kids as we possibly can. So again, you need any information, go to our website, tampagov.net. Everything you need to know about COVID, where the testing sites are, how you make an appointment to get a test, all of that information is on there. Remember, tests are free. Uh, you don't have to have any symptoms at all. You just have to want to go and get tested. So call that number 813-272-5900, make an appointment and go get tested. Very important. So let's get to the important part. My guest today is Santiago Corrada. He is the president and CEO of Visit Tampa Bay, working with a team of skilled destination marketers and nearly 800 local industry partners. He tells the world about the treasures found in the hip urban heart of Florida's West Coast and builds Hillsborough County's economy through tourism, which brings more than $6 billion a year into the community. We are an incredibly well-known and well-liked tourist destination. And a lot of that has to do with my guest, Santiago Corrada. So before we talk about tourism and everything, I have to tell my Santiago story. So he worked for the city of Tampa. I think he had every job in the city. And matter of fact, when an issue arose that needed to be taken care of, he was like that Mikey kid where you said, you know, Mikey will do it. Santiago got assigned. I said, Santiago is going to have the longest name tag in the history of city government. But that's the kind of guy Santiago is. If a problem needs to be fixed, Santiago is going to fix it. If a task needs to be done and done well, Santiago is going to do it. So we are a lucky community to have him where he is at right now. So welcome, Santiago.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. It's so great to see you. And you know me, I'd love to be seeing you person to person.
Yeah.
I'm that social guy. So this is a little bit difficult for me to get used to, although I do 3 or 4 of these a day.
Yeah.
But first, let me thank you on behalf of our industry, you and your incredible team. You know, you were first out of the gate with closing the streets and adding seating capacity to restaurants. You know, restaurants are a part of our industry, of that hospitality industry. Your team at the convention center continues to work with us every day to try to keep groups on the books to come here before the end of this calendar year. In fact, all the rage today has been Tampa Bay Comic-Con and their ability to work with the city on possibly having that event, you know, safety first, but still having that event. So thank you for your creativity, the hard work of your team, because our industry really appreciates it. I hear it from, you know, all of them all the time, 800 plus partners. You can imagine there's a lot of communication. So thank you for what you're doing to keep that engine rolling. I mean, almost 60,000 of our neighbors are employed in the hospitality industry.
Yeah.
And at the current time, many of them have been affected deeply by, you know, the pandemic and the repercussions of the pandemic. So again, thank you for all you're doing for us.
Yeah, well, it's a great partnership. You know, everybody here in not just in the city of Tampa, but in Hillsborough County and the Tampa Bay area, everybody works together so well. You just and you sort of take it for granted until you go visit other places and you see that they don't have that level of cooperation, and it's more of a dog eat dog competitive world. So we're blessed to live here for any number of reasons, but yeah, that's wonderful. So let's talk about tourism and what has happened with the virus.
I think before we talk about what's happened, we have to talk about where we've been, right? So last fiscal year, we had over $704 million in hotel revenue, the most ever in Hillsborough County. And going in through February was the second most successful tourism month in our history, behind only last March. And we were going to kill that March, this March, with all the things we had planned, you know, dozens of conventions. We had the NCAA men's first and second round, you know, WrestleMania. You were getting hyped about WrestleMania. I don't know if you were going to get in there and wrestle somebody, but I know you were getting pumped up for WrestleMania. And then, you know, the middle of March happened. So we lost 50% of our hotel revenue in March. We lost 85% in April. And right now we're starting to see a gradual improvement in May. We're about 75% down. I'm hoping, you know, with a little bit more time in May, we may see that get better. But I really think, you know, the worst is behind us. You know, this hit our industry hard, and it hit it bad, 9 times worse than 9/11, the impact here in the States. So it's, we're slowly trying to get that engine revved up again to get us where we need to be. And all of our partners, like you said, are working so well together, trying to make sure we get back to that record-setting pace that, we come accustomed to. I mean, I was worried about the day when I wouldn't be able to say another record-breaking month. And look, I've had to eat crow over the last 2 months, and we've not been anywhere close to record-breaking in April and of course March.
Yeah. All of those meetings, that arrow was going straight up. I thought you were gonna have to tape another graph on top, and then all of a sudden. But doesn't it just seem like so long ago? Like WrestleMania, like we were talking about that a year ago. But one of the things I saw, it said the month of March was the longest year of my life. So
yeah, think back a couple of months. We're in Miami, with the ball being handed off to you
for
Super Bowl, and what a different sense we had back during that Super Bowl. And again, back to February, 87.8% occupancy average in February. That means 8 out of every 10 rooms in Hillsborough County were occupied in February, which is just amazing. So we got to get back to that. And, it's going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah, it will. And we'll recover. We definitely, people love coming here. So Visit Tampa Bay did a great job with providing resources to its partners during the pandemic. How's that shifted now that we're starting to move into the recovery?
Well, our role changed pretty quickly. We had to decide on some cost-saving measures because we wanted to have the dollars available for us to start marketing when things got, semi back to normal. So we went from a destination marketing management organization to really a community information organization. Yeah. We were one of the first destination organizations to start providing information on COVID-19, putting out your information, putting out the county's information, putting out the governor's phasing of the reopening. So we really became a hospitality industry information resource organization. But now, and along those lines, we also kept trying to keep those conventions on the books and rebooking and rescheduling some of the conventions that had to cancel. But now, we're starting to gear up to get out there and start to market in a responsible and safe way, because we want to start getting out there and competing with some of the other destinations that are going to be looking for, those folks to come and visit, because everybody now is very hungry to get, and it is a dog-eat-dog industry. You're out there competing with every city in America, every city around the globe, because we all want visitors. And so we have to be smart, and we have to be creative, and we have to know when timing is right.
And so, like you said, it is very competitive, trying to bring these conferences, these conventions, these events into our community. And I participated in a few of those. You participated in a lot.
No, but, you have.
Yeah, but so let's talk a little bit about that. Like, how do you change, what would be the approach in that competition that we make ourselves more, available and more attractive than the next location?
Well, it's interesting. When we started heading down this road, we started reaching out to those groups. We started reaching out and saying, hey, things are changing. Please bear with us. We're going to keep you informed. And if for some reason we have to cancel, and we canceled plenty in March and April.
Oh, yes, we did.
We want to stay connected, because we want you to either rebook for later in the year when it's appropriate to do so, or we want to get back into that rotation. For some groups, they've booked 5 years out, as with a Super Bowl, with some of these things. You're competing today for something that may not happen 3 to 4 years from now.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you got to get back in line, but you want to make sure you're first back in line.
All right.
So, we've gone ahead and made sure that with any group that had to cancel, or any group that's having to postpone, we're their very best friend. And then again, back to what you said, to make us more attractive. We've always been very attractive, right? The people of Tampa are our secret weapon. We're extremely accommodating, warm, welcoming. But now I think with this situation, you have to think of the opportunities for being safe, the opportunities for having open. That's why I'm out here today, to show that we have this incredible environment in Tampa, Hillsborough County, where you can enjoy the outdoors
Mhm.
and not catch anything, right?
Yeah,
So I think
exactly.
now the hidden message, the magic of marketing is saying, isn't this beautiful? But you're going to come here and you're going to be safe. And
Right.
so I think that's kind of the road we're headed down, making sure that that consumer confidence is very strong and
Mhm.
people feel good about coming here.
Yeah, and that's a great point because not only do you have to sell that to the prospective companies, corporations, groups, but they in turn have to sell it to the attendees. So, to be able to
Absolutely.
say, hey, look, you can come down here in paradise. You have all of these opportunities in the outdoors where the possibility of contracting a virus are slim to none. So that's very interesting. So tourism clearly is a huge, huge part of our economy here, and we could cry about the numbers all the way around. From our convention center went from book solid to completely empty. But how is it going to be a part of our recovery?
Well, it's interesting because right now on the books, Mayor, between June and September, we have over 30 events that are still holding tight.
Yeah.
And I think if we can find creative ways to be able to accommodate them, like I said, in a very safe environment, and those come to fruition, we'll see some economic rebound from
Mhm.
that. But then next year, I mean, we have over 137 events booked from October 1st through September 30th of next year, almost a 500,000 room nights and billions of dollars in economic impact. And we have to make sure that we're abiding by the safe
Mhm.
guidelines to make sure that some of those can become a reality. But, we're very fortunate here in Tampa, Hillsborough County, because, our job is not only to bring these conventions and big groups and events, but also tourists and leisure
Yeah.
travelers.
Right.
And, we're very attractive right now as a drive market for folks wanting to take that old family, car trip. I think back, as a kid, and
Yeah.
we used to pile into the station wagon back in Patterson, New Jersey, and drive down to Florida. And
Right.
I always think of National Lampoon's Vacation movie where
Right.
they all jump in the
Yeah.
station wagon. And I
Griswold.
think that the Griswolds going from Chicago to California,
Yeah.
I think we're going to see some of that. I really do. I think we're going to see, families and folks taking car trips. And we're going to be there to market to not only people in Florida, but people in the Southeast, all the way up the Northeast,
Yeah.
to make sure that they think of us as a place they may want to visit.
That's awesome. And it's fascinating to me, the whole marketing and the outreach and where you go and who you reach out to. So it's very interesting. So speaking of that, what do you feel the main focus of promoting our community is going to be moving forward? Are we going to look more at the tourism, or are we going to do more of the conventions and conferences, or just go all out and try to get anything and everything that we can get here?
Mayor, the data that we're hearing from the industry goes back to, again, this drive market, that people are going to be very excited about getting out there and traveling to visit friends or family or enjoy locations like this. So I think that, our focus first and foremost should be about those tourist leisure travelers.
Okay.
Continue to work on the conventions, but of course, there's still a lot of parameters around those, right?
Yeah.
Group capacity, group gatherings. We have to wait on an ease of those restrictions. But you
Hmm.
know what? If we can entice a family from Georgia that's looking for a great Florida place to visit, and they want to come down here and they want to enjoy, our fabulous aquarium or our zoo or Busch Gardens when it opens back up, and stay here, stay in Hillsborough County, and then go and enjoy the beaches in Pinellas. That's
There you go.
fantastic. And so I think we have, a real shot at bringing in some leisure tourist travelers between, I'd say June and the end of December for sure.
Okay. So are those the main projections on tourism, is that it's going to be more of the family travel in vehicles? So we should not share this with Joe Lapano.
Joe's going to have to be a little patient, I think,
Yeah.
because air travel will come back. It'll be domestic at first, Mayor, I think.
Right.
and the airlines are certainly working on their measures to deal with distancing and testing and all of those things. I think international travel may be a little bit further down the road, but I think Joe will be okay, and the folks at the airport will be okay with the domestic travel coming back. And we've always been a domestic destination. That's been our bread and butter. So I think we'll be fine with that until the international stuff comes back.
Anything about cruises? Any thoughts on cruises? Do you think that they'll be able to adapt enough?
Yeah, you know what we're hearing, Mayor, is that they're getting ready for summer. I mean, that the cruise lines want to get back into the swing of things in the summer. And obviously, they're going to have to react like many others are reacting and really put a lot of precautionary measures in place. You know, they're going to have some way of testing people that are getting on the boats, and they're going to have to make sure that they're sanitizing the right way, and that, you know, the folks that work for the cruise line also are well protected. But I think it's going to be a new normal for a while. I mean, I think we're all going to have to adjust to a new normal for some time.
Yeah, that's like the you know, the facial coverings too. I just keep telling everybody that's the new normal. Just get used to it, at least for the near future. So tell us what you're most excited about for the near future, and if there's any openings or new attractions or anything that you see in the future.
Well, Mayor, you know, super excited about hotel development. You know, you've been engaged in so much of that. You know, so many hotels under construction about to open. When you think about, you know, the hotel right across City Hall, and then you've got the JW in the Channel District, and you've got Hotel High out in Ybor. You and I have done some things out there in Ybor, the stuff that's happening with Midtown. So obviously, the hotel product and the development of it is incredible. We're going to have to make sure we can feed that because we want it to be successful. And then, you know, our attractions are doing a fantastic job. You know, I'm a roller coaster junkie, so I can't wait to get on Iron Gwazi. You know, when Busch Gardens comes up, I keep watching the construction via, you know, Zoom or whatever. And, you know, I want to be one of the first ones to jump on Gwazi and check it out. So, so many things going on with the zoo and the aquarium, and you know, so many of our attractions are stepping up their game. You know, think about our restaurant scene just a few years ago and what's happened there. You know, I'm hoping many of them can get back on their feet because we had some very interesting concepts going on in the culinary front here, and it'd be nice to get back to all those things. So, you know, the future is just incredible for us, and I think, like I said early on, we're going to be well positioned to be an attractive destination to visit. You know, when you think of the impacts in South Florida and you think of how busy Orlando can be, I think, you know, Tampa is a really good option for folks that are looking to visit the state of Florida and want a metropolitan area that has, you know, the hip urban heartbeat of the Gulf Coast. Yeah.
And the history, you know, just the niche areas that we have around cigars, around the breweries, around you know, the history of our community. There's just so many things that are so attractive about Tampa that really aren't. I mean, you have the beaches, you have the attractions in Zoo Tampa, in the Florida Aquarium, in Busch Gardens, in Mosey, in our wonderful museums downtown. But you know, you have so many other things. Our river is just so alive, and there's so many things that you can do, both sports wise and leisure. You know, the river walk is an incredible addition, and then all of the restaurants along there. So really exciting. And I'm very grateful that we were able to keep our construction moving along as well. I was surprised to find that we are one of the few places in the United States that put a process in place whereby our major construction projects could continue on with specific safety measures to ensure that there wasn't a transmission of the virus. And knock on wood, we haven't had, out of those 52 major projects that we have going on, we don't have any positive virus cases at those. And not only are those providing jobs for thousands of our current residents, the jobs that will be provided once they're open and online. So very, very exciting time for our future. And I can't wait to see what you have up your sleeve, because I know you and I know the team that you have around you, and you're incredibly creative. So we're very excited. People keep asking me about the football season and, my projections on that, of when they're going to start, whatever. And I said, trust me, the NFL will figure out how to have a season. And the only thing that I can predict with 100% certainty is that we are going to be the first team that brings home that Lombardi trophy in our own backyard. So that I know without a doubt. So thank you so much, Santiago. It's always great to see you and talk with you. I too can't wait to see you in person. But thanks for all you're doing, and I have no doubt we'll be back up in our on our feet in short order. So
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you
all
so
right.
much.
Take care. All right.
Bye.
Remember to text Tampa Ready, Tampa Lista to 888-777. If you haven't done so, you're probably the last person in the city that hasn't. So you get real-time updates on the virus. Tampa Biz, 888-777. Get real-time business updates. So stay informed. Go to tampagov.net. Please don't politicize this virus. Don't make it into a red and blue issue. This virus doesn't care if you're red or you're blue. We have to make sure that we take care of all of our citizens and we keep everybody safe and healthy. So, what do I always ask? Stay calm, stay safe, be kind, and if at all possible, stay home. Thank you all and God bless.